concerning that. I don't believe we have that tape ready. In the meantime, Tony Russomanno is standing by live in the Santa Cruz area. Tony, are you there?
Yeah, Cheryl, can you hear me now?
All right,
absolutely, go right ahead.
Okay, Cheryl, I'm kneeling astride a crack that's opened up in the earth just off Summit Road at Highway 17, about a mile from Highway 17 in the Santa Cruz Mountains. This crack is about, it's about 4 feet wide right here. It runs, about 250 feet back from where I am, another 150 feet in front of me. There's a house there. There's another house behind it. There's a house across the street. The crack goes right across Summit Road. This may not be a fissure directly caused by the San Andreas Fault. There may be other explanations for it, but geologists say it is the most impressive fissure as a result from Tuesday's earthquake. The most impressive earth movement that has occurred in California since the San Fernando Valley earthquake. To see this crack on a two-dimensional TV screen may not be as impressive as seeing it in person, but Channel 7 photographer Clyde Powell attached his small Super 8mm camera to a rigid pole and traversed the crack with the pole. So let's take a look at that tape and show you what it looks like to actually go down inside a fissure of the earth. And we're walking now along this fissure at a depth of about 3 feet. The camera is showing you exactly what it looks like. It looks like the Grand Canyon, doesn't it? But actually the crack is about 3 feet wide. We've attached a camera to a pole to show you this. And at some point, the crack is only a couple of inches wide, just barely wide enough for the camera to get through. There were actually some people standing in this crack a couple of minutes ago to get souvenir photos. In fact, there was a PG&E crew that stood in this crack for several minutes while photographers got their pictures, even though geologists were standing nearby just shaking their heads saying, "Hey, folks, get out of there. That's dangerous." This crack opened up in a matter of seconds. It passed within just a few feet of the front door of the Tranberger house on Summit Road. It separated the Tranberger's entrance by 3 feet. You have to jump over a 3-foot gap to get to their front door. Then it moved across Summit Road to Linda Wolson's house, where it nearly toppled a tree and went right up to the foundation of the house. But amazingly, those houses may not be condemned. The foundation appears to be intact in spite of this massive movement of earth and rock that has occurred as a result of this earthquake. The other explanations for this crack, I mean, if it isn't a fissure caused by the earthquake, what could it be? If it isn't tectonic faulting, it could be a slope failure, for example, a lateral spread of the ridge crest as a result of the shaking in the earth. One clue that this may not be tectonic faulting is that the crack moved in the opposite direction from what they'd expect. Now, let me try to explain that to you. Where I'm sitting right, where I'm kneeling right now, moved. Let's see. It moved this way. It moved towards you, and that side of the crack moved that way. If it were a crack on the San Andreas as a result of tectonic faulting, geologists would have expected that side of the crack to move that way and me to move this way. Instead, it was the opposite direction, if you can understand what I'm saying. Cheryl?
Okay. All right, Tony, a couple of quick questions here, maybe not so quick to answer, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. Certainly you've worked with the geologists on earthquakes before, and the way the earth moves, perhaps a lateral slipping is what we've heard in the past. This looks a little bit different than that.
No, this is lateral slipping.
This is
lateral
okay.
slipping. Also, there's been a separation. It may be the result of a separation of a ridge crest, but the land here is fairly flat. The kind of crack that we saw in the San Fernando Valley quake was it was a thrust fault, so there was a different type of movement. This is a very unique type of movement to a lateral fault line.
Did you feel any movement, any aftershocks while y'all were there?
You know, we've been feeling aftershock after aftershocks. I haven't felt any while I'm kneeling here, but it's getting to the point now where if it isn't, 3, 4 above, I tend to ignore it.
Will the research that's going on here with the geologists and so on help at all to do anything as far as prediction of quakes in the future, do you think?
I think so. This is a geologist field day. There are geologists airlifted in here from all over the world studying this fissure. And, you know, it's like a kid at Christmas time to see the faces of these people because they've been dealing with these issues in the abstract for so long, and now here they are face to face with this sort of movement, this sort of opening. It's overwhelming for a lot of people. There are geologists who live up here also. I was speaking with one man who lives only a few hundred yards from here. I mean, he's literally within walking distance of his life's work. So yes, what is to be learned here is of immense importance. Later on this afternoon, a team from UCSC's Charles Richter Seismology Lab, Dr. Karen McNally, will be up here. And as a result of the quake, the 5+ whatever we had back in August, Dr. McNally planted instruments, ground motion monitors throughout this area because there were some cracks that were seen in the earth back in August. Now, she's going to be going around collecting the information in those instruments, and she's expected up here later on, so she'll have a lot to say when she arrives.
Tony, I know that Santa Cruz appears to be the very hardest hit by this earthquake. We're getting several calls from people in Capitola about problems there. Have you had a chance to check that out at all?
Yeah, from what I've seen, the downtown Santa Cruz is the hardest hit. Some areas up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, especially Boulder Creek, for example, the area around Soquel up in the hills were also hit. Boulder Creek, very extensive damage, houses destroyed. In the low-lying hills outside of Santa Cruz, we're talking about mainly exterior damage, but extensive exterior damage, broken stucco, chimneys toppling, that sort of thing. Capitola Village seems to have escaped. Capitola down by the sea, the little cute little place down by the Esplanade seems to be okay. Further south, the damage seems to be diminishing as you go further south, with the exception of Watsonville.
All right, Tony, thank you very much for that report. I know a lot of people in Capitola wanted to hear what was going on in their city, too. Yes.